So good day everyone. Our topic for today is all about argumentation and debate. So what is argumentation? An argument is a statement that is supported by the other statements, and then the argument is AC's type or AC's thesis type. The backup of support statements are usually called premises or topic sentence of your body paragraphs. In the other word, the argumentation can be defined as a communicative activity of producing and exchanging reasons in order to support claims or defend challenge positions, or especially in situation of doubt or disagreement. It is arguably best conceived as the kind of dialoguing or dialogue, even if one also called argue with oneself in long speeches or in writing for intended but silent audience, or in groups rather than the dyads. But argumentation is a special kind of dialogue. The key point here is a special kind of dialogue. Indeed, most of the dialogues we engage in are not instances of argumentation. Just for example, when asking someone if they know what time is it, or when someone shares details about their vacation. That kind of example is don't need an argument, because he or she just asking the time or sharing the details. When we say argumentation, it would belong to the public of the exchange of reasons expressed in language or other symbolic media and intended for audience. So, why am I writing argumentation? To support the cause, to promote change, to refute a theory, to stimulate interest, to win agreement, to arouse sympathy, and to provoke anger. So, in appealing to your audience, it should in logical appeal, which is relying on audience intelligence and offering credible evidence to support your argument. The evidence includes the facts, examples, precedents, and authority. When we say facts, it is not debatable represent truth. When we say examples, events or circumstances that your audience can relate to in life. When we say precedents, specific sample from the past. And then the authority must be timely and qualified to judge the topic.
In the continuation of our report, we have here the debate. Debate is a more formal way of communicating. Debate is has also a method of interactive and representational argument. Debate is a series of lectures for and against on a given topic by knowledgeable persons. A debate is a contest where two teams present their arguments intent persuading one another. And on the other hand, debate is a process basically that involves formal discourse on a particular topic, often including a moderator and audience, of course. In a debate, arguments are put forward for often opposing viewpoints. And a debate is a kind of irrespectful, well-reasoned argument over opposing points of view, although tensions can run high and voices can be raised. In fact, the verb evolved from the old French débattre, meaning to fight. Most formal debates during a political campaign, for example, keep the battles to a minimum. But if you find yourself in the midst of a debate between a Red Sox fan and a Yankees fan, things can get ugly. So, what makes a debate? First, we have here the matter. This what you say, or the topic of the topic that you're going to defend. We have here the pros and cons. And next, we have how you say it, your manner, your tone of voice, and how you raise your mood of the way you deliver your sentences, your resources, or the facts that you find along with your topic. In manner, we have here the confidence. I know. First, yes, we have here matter. It is the general knowledge, your persuasive arguments, and we have here the rebuttal. And for the method, it is your organization of material, proper fulfillment of speaker roles, and your time management. And for matter, for manner, rather, we have here the confidence, voice, gesture, and stance. Again, matter consists of general knowledge, persuasive arguments, and the rebuttal. And for the method, we have here the organization of material, proper fulfillment of speaker roles, and your time management. And lastly, for the manner, we have here the confidence, voice, gesture, and stance. An argument is part of a debate, which is the whole. In other words, a debate is made up of a bunch of argument and counter-arguments. So arguments are the proof needed to have the debate or to discuss the opposing points of view.
In short, we cannot do debate if we don't have the arguments, because the arguments is the main point why we should debate or why we should support our stance between the argument that they gave to us, to enable to us to recognize or enable to us to point out what's the better solution about that argument. So we have here the parameters of comparison between the argument and debate. First is the meaning. In argument, it is non-contest but competitive rise of dispute and characterized discussion for disagreement.
While in debate, it is a contest of formal discussions about a given topic, and it is often held in an assembly hall where the two opposing teams are seated across from one another.
When talking about the nature of argument and debate, in argument, it is informal but can be formal as well according to the circumstances it used in.
In the nature of debate, the debate is always held formally as it is held as a contest with participants who are against with a given topic.
In process, argument goes through a process of reasoning back and forth with no particular order.
And for the debate, the process is they are held in an ordered manner where the opponent's view of negative are heard and they try their best to establish their affirmative views.
In decision making, in argument, does not lead decision but rather leads to heated conversations and disputes about the same disagreement.
In debate, a conclusion arrives at that is decided by democratic means or voting for the opinions posted from either side and the ones who had good facts supporting them.
And the last one is the usage. In argument, it is usually used to persuade someone and is often referred as a persuasive course. It is also summarizing prose or poetry.
In the usage of debate, it is often seen to be used as a verb and this gives rise to change in the meaning, but otherwise it is only referred to the contest of formal discussion on the given topic.
So, any question about argument and debate? So, thank you so much for listening. So, let's proceed to another topic. The second topic that we discuss now is all about speeches for special occasions. So first speech is speech for introduction. It builds the enthusiasm for the upcoming speaker, builds enthusiasm for the speaker's topic, establishing welcome climate that will boost the speaker's confidence. So, in speech of introduction is a is something brief speech that provides the main speaker's qualifications. Also, this speech prepares the audience for the main speaker by establishing the speaker's credibility, and also helps make the speaker feel welcome. Also, this speech is to is like welcome, express the welcome pleasure for the presence of the person or a group, and then the purpose is to make the person or group feel welcome and to provide information about the organization you represent, and also find out something about person or a group beforehand that you can include in the speech of welcome. The speech of welcome or the speech of introduction typically lasts between 3 and 5 minutes. The second one is the speech of presentation. It tells the audience why the person is receiving the award, points out the contributions, achievements, etc., discusses the achievements in a way it will be more meaningful for the audience, and last is the explains the award briefly. In speech presentation, it is something publicly speaking to an audience with the intent to inform, demonstrate, and also explain or persuade. In the presentation is normally written, then performed, and includes an introduction, a body consisting of main focal points, and a conclusion. The third one is the speech of acceptance. It gives thanks for a gift or an award, thank the people bestowing the award, and recognize the people who help you gain it. In speech of acceptance, the aims is to express gratitude by thanking, awarding individuals. Similarly, it is also an opportunity to show how honored you are to be given such recognition. Also, in speech of acceptance, it is a short, well-written speech is expected at a public event when you receive an award. It is the golden opportunity that you thank the awarding organization or individuals. However, you need proper planning and good writing skills that make your speech impressive for the audience. It is also important to have an acceptance speech prepared before the event. However, you can avoid making mistakes by following some guidelines and proper structure, which you find in studying this speech acceptance. The next one is the commemorative speech. It is for praise or celebration, pay tribute to a person, a group of people, an institution, or an idea. Inspires people to increase the appreciation of admiration for the person, institution, or idea. So in commemorative speech are sometimes known as ceremonial or epidictic speeches. At the most basic level, commemorative speech pay tribute or praise a person, an institution, an event, idea, or place. Um, the commemorative speech focus in values because all societies hold certain values central to a human existence, like beauty, loyalty, wisdom, kindness, tradition, success, innocence, experience, and also courage. Just for example, the commemorative speech will celebrate these values. A speaker would not just a biography of who George Washington was, but rather would celebrate who he was, why he was worthy of praise, and encourage the audience to celebrate those values. So among the four, what what speech do you want to write or to do? So that's all for our second topic. So let's proceed to the next topic.
For the third topic, we have oral interpretation. Oral interpretation is an act of an individual or a group who shares with an audience. It is a process by which words are pulled from the page and given dimension in a reader or reader's voice and body. It also involves the performing of literature aloud to communicate meaning to an audience. So basically, oral interpretation is just like storytelling. But the difference is that in oral interpretation, the reader can freely choose his or her ways in delivering the text, while in storytelling, it has the unchangeable tone and way of delivery. Oral interpretation can read the text on their own mood and imagination. And an interpreter analyzes the literature and uses his or her voice to communicate the results of the analysis. The interpreter is the connection between the literature and the audience. So, one of the oldest forms of speech is the oral interpretation of literature. This performance is variously called oral reading, reading aloud, or interpretative reading. In the 18th and 19th centuries, the oral performance literature was known as elocution. Today, it is referred to as expression. In ancient literature, before the invention of printing was originally read aloud, historians read their works. Poets recited their poems during festivals and even going from town to town as bards. However, with the advent of printing, reading became silent. So we have here the importance of oral interpretation. Oral interpretation shows critical and interpretative skills. Analytical interpretative skills are used to closely examine ideas, to identify assumptions, reasons, and claims, and to gather detailed information from charts, graphs, diagrams, paragraphs, and etc. And also, oral interpretation shows ability of the students to organize their ideas and express them with effective language choices. So there are 5 oral interpretation categories, which are the following. First, we have prose interpretation, poetry interpretation. Third, the dramatic interpretation, program oral interpretation, and last, we have the dramatic duo interpretation. So what is prose interpretation? So it states here that prose interpretation is a fiction or non-fiction performance piece, which may be drawn from a short story, essay, or novel. And the focus of this event is on the development of the narrative or narrative story, and play cuttings and poetry are prohibited. The use of manuscript is required in prose interpretation. So next we have the poetry interpretation. So poetry interpretation is a selection or selections of poetry which may be drawn from more than one source. A primary focus of this event should be on the development of language. And also, play cuttings and prose works are prohibited just like the prose interpretation, and the use of manuscript is also required in poetry interpretation. So third, we have here the dramatic interpretation. So as it states here, dramatic interpretation is a performance piece that represents one or more characters from a stage play, movie, or radio show. The focus of this event is on the development of characterization, and the use of manuscript is also required, just like the two interpretation that I discussed earlier. So we are down to the fourth interpretation. We have here the program oral interpretation. It is a program of thematically linked selections chosen from 2 or 3 different genres of competitive interpretation, the prose, poetry, or drama. And the primary focus of this event should be on the development of the theme through the use of narrative or story, language, and or characterization. And the last one is the dramatic duo interpretation. It is a cutting from a play or plays, humorous or serious, involving the portrayal of 2 or more characters presented by 2 individuals. The material may be drawn from stage, screen, or radio. This is not an acting event, thus no costumes, props, lighting, and etc. are to be used or highly needed. So presentation is from the manuscript, and the focus should be off stage and not to each other. So this where ends the oral interpretation discussion. So I hope you have learned something and understand the 5 oral interpretation categories. Thank you.